to start on a serious note. A woman died in the county's mental health facility. She starved to death. A woman starved to death in the Milwaukee County Health Facility, the mental health facility. You know how long it takes to starve to death? It doesn't take days, it takes weeks to starve to death. And Scott Walker campaigned for governor. We had a horrible rainstorm in July of this year. Thousands of homes were flooded. I visited those homes, and Scott Walker campaigned for governor. We have a correction system in this county, the county jail, the house correctional system. A federal estate audit came in and said that the staffing was horrible, that it was bad conditions, and Scott Walker campaigned for governor. We're the fourth poorest city in this country. And there's a bus line that runs in front of my house. It's run in front of my house since June of 1923, the month that my dad was born. It was discontinued on Easter Sunday, March 23rd, 2008. I have security who drives me around. It didn't affect me. My children can get rides. It doesn't affect them. But there's a woman who lives around my block who's bound to a wheelchair. And she used to take my daughters downtown or Mayfair to go shopping. She can't do that anymore. And Scott Walker campaigned for governor. I'm running for governor to fight for jobs. I fought for jobs since I became the mayor of this city. I worked with Republicans, I worked with Democrats, I worked with suburbanites, I worked with rural people. We created the M7, the Milwaukee 7, to create jobs. And yes, we've lost too many jobs in the city, but without the M7, we would have lost even more. Scott Walker's reaction to this effort to create jobs was, and this is his quote, it's like putting lipstick on a pig. That was his quote. This is the guy who's supposed to be working with me years before we're both running for the same office, who talks about our economic development efforts like putting lipstick on a pig. Well, everybody here knows you don't sell a house, you don't sell a dress, you don't sell a car by saying how lousy it is. You get out there and you talk about what's great about a community, what's great about a state, and you move it forward. I've traveled through this state. I've traveled through this state and met farmers, met people in small towns, met people who are struggling, and they've never stopped believing in their families. They've never stopped believing in their community. They've never stopped believing in their state. Scott Walker says, believe in Wisconsin again. I want to run for the people who have never stopped believing in Wisconsin. I'm going to fight for family-supporting jobs. I'm going to fight for every single corner of the state to get more jobs where people can support their family. But we've got another issue, the fiscal health of this state. This is a very serious time for this state. We've got a $2.7 billion structural deficit. That means it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for me. It's going to be hard for the legislators to address this problem. But my priorities are education, health care, public safety for the people of this state. Scott Walker's priority is to give a tax break to the richest 1% in this state. And I've said this before, I'll say it again. I've got nothing against wealthy people. I've got 4 kids. They're 11, 13, 16, and 18. I'd be the happiest dad in the world if one of my kids would marry one of their kids and support me in the manner to which I'd like to be accustomed. But that's not what this is about. This is about our values. This is about our values as a people and what we value. And what we value in this state is education and making sure that every child has a right to an education so that they can get a job to support their family. That people can be on Badger Care and not be thrown off because they've been working too long. Not be thrown off because they've been working too long. The values is we've got resources for police and fire, and we can have libraries in this community. I'm fighting because I'm on your side for this state. I'm fighting for the middle class and the working people of this state. So here's where we are. It's 10 days till election. It's the fourth quarter of an NBA basketball game. This is where it starts to count. This is where we need you to call your friends, to call your neighbors, to get people out to vote. Glenmore is right. Their whole bet is that you don't come out to vote. Their whole bet is that your friends don't come out to vote. Their whole bet is that people stay home. I want them to lose that bet, and I want us to move this country forward. That's what we need to do. So I'm asking you in these remaining 10 days, get engaged. Give us an hour, give us 2 hours, give us 3 hours. Knock on doors, make the phone calls. This is our democracy. We the people will decide. That's why it's important to vote. So I thank you for your support. I thank you for what you're doing. And now it's my pleasure to introduce a guy who's been fighting for Wisconsin for 18 years and needs your help, Senator Russ Feingold.
Fired up. Fired up and ready. Fired up and ready to vote. I want to thank Bishop Hines for his remarks today. What a wonderful leader in this community. I want to thank Representative Glenmore for being such a great friend and for being here today. I especially want to thank previous speaker, one of the best people I've ever worked with, the next governor of the state of Wisconsin. Get out of the rain by exercising your right to vote early. That's how you can do it. We have the best laws in the country. We believe in Wisconsin we should make it as easy as possible for people to vote. Not to repress the vote, not to try to stop people from voting. The more people that vote, the more democracy. That's what our country is based on. The fact that you're voting today means that you know that this election makes a huge difference. It won't be won by people spending their personal fortune on ads. You know, I watched TV for a couple hours this morning. My opponent had 7 times more ads than I did. Who's a politician in that situation? Not only that, he's got $2 million in ads from shadowy out-of-state groups, and he won't even ask them in a serious way to say who they are. He's trying to buy this election, but we're not going to let him do it. Your showing up today shows that the idea of an enthusiasm dance is a figment of the Republican imagination. I don't see gatherings like this for Ron Johnson. I don't see an enthusiasm camp here, and I didn't see one in Madison a few weeks ago when the president came at 26,000 people. We're not going to hand this country back to Republicans and those that supported trade deals and sent tens of thousands of Wisconsin jobs overseas. We're not going to hand it back to a guy like Ron Johnson who says the first thing he's going to do is repeal the health care bill. No, I'm not standing aside from that vote. I'm the only senator in the country that's running there and saying, you're darn right I voted for that bill. Corporate interests would just love to get me out of the Senate because they know I'm from the state with great Bob LaFollette who showed us how to fight the big corporate interests. I try to follow in some small way in his tradition. You know, recently a publication in Washington analyzed different members of Congress. He identified the meanest member of Congress, the number 1 gym rat, the hottest senator. I was none of these. However, I was named, not the second, not the third, not the fourth, but the number 1 enemy of the Washington. In this election, we outspent. We will be outspent. We will never be out-organized. This cannot walk. It has to be earned. We earn it starting right now before the rain gets worse by going to vote right now.